Donald Trump himself, you say the whole team, but is he agitated, exercised by it? Have you spoken to him about it?
I never disclose private conversations I have with Donald Trump. That's why he likes me and trusts me. But I have spoken to very senior members of his incoming cabinet team. And
so Marco Rubio, people like that.
They are horrified.
Horrified?
Horrified.
Why?
Because they know that China has extraordinary naval ambitions. We see that literally every month in the South China Sea as they encroach on new territories, they try and reclaim atolls. And the trouble with this deal is, well, number one, it's totally unnecessary, but and there is no basis in international law that we have to do this that stands up. But the worry is that it's a 99-year lease. Sounds great, but we had a 50-year deal with China over Hong Kong. That unraveled.
During his recent live appearance, Nigel Farage left the entire audience in complete astonishment. The presenter, who was prepared to pose challenging questions, was caught off guard as Farage shifted the dynamics of the conversation. His sharp and self-assured responses left the interviewer visibly bewildered. Farage didn't make excuses or hesitate for a moment. His boldness and confidence dominated the discussion, showcasing him as a true master of the moment. A particularly striking instance occurred when the presenter attempted to corner him with questions about his relationship with Donald Trump. Instead of dodging the issue, Farage confidently defended his actions, leaving no room for doubt. The presenter's efforts to regain control appeared feeble and futile. Farage's responses were so precise and compelling that it felt as if he had anticipated every move of his opponent, much like a chess player always staying one step ahead. This was more than just an interview, it was a captivating spectacle, brimming with tension and emotion.
Maybe mend some fences between this government and the incoming presidency of Donald Trump's, given that the whole of his cabinet have been so rude about him over the last few years.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to see the honourable member making a rare appearance back here in Britain. He spent so much time in America recently. I was half expecting to see him on the immigration statistics when we see the next batch. But he may have missed. I did congratulate the incoming president last week.
It's not merely about sharing information, it's about building trust, which is crucial in today's world. People are weary of feeling like they're being fed rehearsed speeches that lack authenticity. Farage's unconventional style infuses his words with personal significance, as if he's speaking directly to each ordinary Briton, reaching into their very souls. Whether or not they agree with him, they sense that he is speaking the truth, a rarity in our current political landscape. Farage's sincerity has certainly not gone unnoticed. Across the UK, people are talking about how composed and thoughtful he was during the interview. Many viewers expressed their delight, stating that if more politicians conducted themselves with the same grace and clarity, our country could be transformed for the better. Farage's approach distinctly sets him apart from others. While many shy away from tough questions, he confronts them head-on, earning respect even from those who may disagree with him. Viewers don't just hear a politician, they see a man who truly cares about the future of his country, and this ignites a sense of hope and inspiration within them.
I spent many hours in Parliament. Yesterday I gave my maiden speech, and I was in today, of course, for the first Prime Minister's questions, the big, great piece of theatre that is, I mean, really, let's be honest about it, quite a global sensation. What have I noticed so far in the Parliament? Well, I have to tell you, I reckon it is between 85 and 90% Remainers. I reckon it's over 50% rejoiners. I mean, they would literally rejoin the European Union tomorrow. And if you even mention or dare to mention legal or illegal immigration, they look at you, they raise their eyes as if you're spoiling a really rather convivial dinner party. So I don't actually think our electoral system, our first past the post system, is giving us really an especially balanced parliament that represents
The audience was absolutely thrilled, unable to contain their excitement, and social media erupted with a wave of enthusiastic reviews, labeling this performance as iconic and deserving of a place in history. News agencies unanimously hailed it as one of the most unforgettable interviews of the year. Whether you love him or loathe him, Farage's commanding presence was so undeniable that he simply could not be overlooked. The interview took a dramatic and thrilling turn when the host dared to broach the subject of Nigel Farage's relationship with Donald Trump. Rather than sidestepping the question, Farage boldly defended Trump, openly expressing his support. He passionately articulated how Trump's policies have bolstered global markets and prioritized national interests, clearly outlining why he views Trump as a vital ally for Britain. When the host inquired about his public appearances with Trump, Farage remained composed and unfazed. With fire in his eyes, he underscored the significance of the relationship between the United Kingdom and the United States, highlighting the substantial benefits that strong ties with America bring to Britain, benefits that many may not even recognize. The presenter's attempt to frame this as a controversial moment fell flat, as Farage effortlessly redirected the conversation to the necessity of strong leadership on the global stage, leaving everyone in awe of his confidence and charisma.
Nigel Farage, at PMQs, what would be your first question?
Oh, that'll depend on where we are. I'm guessing by the time of the first PMQs that I get a chance, I'm guessing the boats will be coming across the channel in droves. So I expect it may be around that issue.
You said this was a message to Labour. What is your message directly to Sir Keir Starmer?
My message would be that unless you control immigration, and if you dare take us closely back to the European Union, you will find yourself in 2029 in big electoral trouble. We are now after Labour, make no mistake.
And Clacton, what are your priorities for the local area? What do you want to see in Clacton change?
Money. It needs more tourists, it needs more investment. I haven't promised anything false in this campaign at all. I'd never do that, but I genuinely believe I can help put it on the map.
The contrast is truly striking and evokes a whirlwind of emotions. While Farage boldly confronts challenging issues and provides clear, specific answers, Starmer often sidesteps tough questions, leaving people feeling bewildered. His ambiguous responses are disappointing and raise doubts about his leadership abilities. As Farage actively addresses the very concerns that Starmer appears to be avoiding, many are starting to question whether Starmer feels uneasy about how Farage is winning over the public's trust and influence. This frustration is becoming increasingly evident. People are in search of a leader who genuinely cares about their issues, and right now, Farage seems to be stepping into the gap that Starmer has left. Nigel Farage is not just capturing attention, his Reform UK party is swiftly gaining traction. With each election, the party secures more seats, signalling significant shifts in the political landscape. For many, this is not surprising. People are weary of the same old promises from the major parties and are yearning for new, dynamic leadership. A Reform UK appears to be answering this call, instilling hope in those seeking change.
I got called by the Speaker to ask a question in PMQs. Well, the Prime Minister was not going to answer my direct question in any way at all, and all those Labour MPs screaming and shouting at me, gosh, it felt like being back in the European Parliament. I really rather enjoyed it. But the serious point, of course, and he's right, that with a population that has exploded over the course of the last few years, the previous government did not build enough prison places. But the whole question of early release, what is the point of a sentence if people are let out after only serving 40% of it? One of the people released from one of the northern prisons yesterday had, wait for it, 109 previous convictions. So that person, I would say, is bound.
Comments like, "Why can't all politicians be like this?" are flooding social media. Farage communicates with a clear purpose: we need more leaders like him. These reactions underscore the rising dissatisfaction with current political figures. It's not just what Farage says, but how he delivers his message that matters. His calm demeanor during challenging times sets him apart as a remarkable figure in this chaotic political landscape, inspiring people to believe in the possibility of change. While Nigel Farage garners admiration and inspiration, Keir Starmer, unfortunately, is losing that trust. Critics of Farage may debate his political views, but no one can deny his genuine concern for the future of Britain. In contrast, Starmer faces accusations of making decisions that seem disconnected from the real needs of the public, leading many to question his sincerity. It appears he is more focused on crafting a political image than on taking meaningful actions that could improve citizens' lives. This has resulted in disappointment and frustration among those who are looking for true change and genuine concern from their leaders.
Things can only get worse coming from Labour, but that's pretty much what he's been saying. I'm kind of guessing that psychologically, whilst there will be tax rises in the budget, they won't be quite as bad as we currently fear. I think that's the game that he was playing with that sort of, Private Fraser, we're all doomed speech. But it does actually rather sum up his personality, doesn't it? I mean, he seems to have almost no joy in his heart or humour. There is the sort of slight edge of the authoritarian, which comes to the surface pretty quickly and is certainly manifesting itself, if you believe the leak to the Sun newspaper on outdoor smoking this morning. No honeymoon, no joy, but I think the real thing was the speech yesterday in Germany,
about populism. Snake oil salesman.
I was going to come to that, yes.
Farage's leadership has truly become a catalyst for change. His remarkable ability to connect with everyday voters and candidly address their frustrations is fundamentally transforming the landscape. He's not merely discussing change, he's actively driving it forward right now. While others hesitate and falter, Reform UK is swiftly gaining traction and people are starting to take notice. This significant surge in support reflects the increasing dissatisfaction with traditional parties like Labour and the Conservatives. The rising popularity of Reform UK is clear evidence that voters are seeking action, not empty promises. As Farage continues to steer the country, the political establishment is beginning to feel the pressure, and it's palpable at every turn. He's not just at the helm of Reform UK, he's fulfilling the role that many believe a Prime Minister should embody. In interviews, debates and public appearances, he boldly tackles tough issues that other leaders shy away from. While Keir Starmer retreats and stumbles, Farage provides clarity and a strong sense of direction, inspiring people to believe in change and take action. Share your thoughts in the comments and see you soon.